friends, I'm Allie, and today I'm making a video about why I think our mental health should be our number one priority, period. I really believe that our mental health and mental well-being should trump literally everything, including relationships, career, everything. If you're someone with mental health issues that you're aware of, it should be your number one priority. And I'm going to break down in the rest of the video what exactly I mean by that, how to realistically do that, without feeling like you're just a walking basket case that actually belongs in a mental asylum. That's not what I mean by this video. That's not what I mean by prioritizing your mental health over everything. This is the only thing that makes sense. If you don't prioritize your mental health as the number one thing, it's just going to be self-sabotage, and it's just going to come back to bite you again at the end of the day. And I can speak from my own personal experience. Yeah, I'm going to break down all of that. So basically what led me to making this video is that recently I've been having some mental health issues in Tokyo, which is I've been living alone here for the past couple of months. I had some overdue healing that was catching up to me, and basically my mental health just erupted. It was a mini crisis out of nowhere. I'm fine now. I'm good. Going through that experience made me again remember why mental health needs to be our number one priority. And okay, as passionate as I am about mental health, I am a life coach for FFS. What I actually really am passionate about is seeing people thrive at their best. I want you to live your best life, create a life that you love, set the right goals and achieve them, and gain self-confidence. So that's the work that I'm really passionate about. So why am I sitting here saying that mental health should be your number one priority? Well, it's actually very logical. The crux, the reason why this all adds up, why the maths, is because the way to take care of your mental health is actually very aligned with principles of holistic wellness and nutrition, which I've been studying recently. But yeah, to take care of your mental health, it's usually all good actions that you're taking, right? So by prioritizing your mental health in a lot of ways, you're essentially just prioritizing your own holistic well-being, which I do think is a big key to self-actualization and liberation, which is what my channel is about. Usually the advice on how to have better mental health is very aligned with just generally advice on how to be a better person and how to live better. So some examples are setting boundaries. Boundaries are so important, because if you don't have the right boundaries in place, and believe me, I learned this the hard way, you will wreck relationships. You will cause people to lose trust in you. Boundaries and boundary work is so important, not just for you during mental health times, but on how to become a better person. How to become a better person that honors their own needs without stepping on the needs of others. Boundary work is so key. And I think it's one of the keys to having good mental health is having good boundaries. But you see how this ties in really well to overall principles of well-being and living a good life. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do anything that's not for your best, highest good, okay? So when I'm saying that mental health should be your number one priority, I really mean it. And boundary work, I think, is one of the key things in that realm of prioritizing your mental health. That can even be boundaries on work. And for me, that's one of the hardest things, setting boundaries with work, because I'm I can't fall behind because of my mental health. I have things to do, things to create, I can't just put my life on the back burner because I'm feeling depression or anxiety symptoms. But I'm here to make this video to tell me, mental health needs to be your number one priority. Yes, that is even including over the work that you do, no matter how much you love it. Because believe me, speaking from experience here, if you push it away, sorry, I got bangs recently. So I learned this the hard way. Your work is not going to get done if you're avoiding your mental health and not prioritizing it and taking the time to cope and get through it. You might actually develop a really toxic relationship with your own work. It might cause you to prematurely give up on your dreams or on the most aligned path for you if you're just in hustle mode, you're just trying to power through your work and not prioritizing your mental health. So the way you should approach it is first prioritize your mental health and then add in work and set healthy boundaries and a balanced work approach towards work. You can't overwork yourself out of mental health. Believe me, I have been there. And it is not sustainable. And it long term, like maybe, diving into work can put a band-aid over it, but it's going to make you more emotionally closed off. It's going to push any wounds you have like deeper inside of you. Like it's better to just bring it up and heal and work with them as they come. So don't prioritize work over your mental health. Your mental health should be your number one priority. Now I'm going to talk about relationships because this is another super, super important part. When it comes to mental health, it's so nuanced. There's no right answer. Being the age that I am now, having the experience I have now, you have to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can be there for others. I do think it's good to like have conversations about your mental health before things start coming up. I would also say it's important to remember that it is your thing. Like people can support you as much as they're willing to, but it's your thing that you are given the opportunity to overcome, to put it in a super, super grossly optimistic way. It's your headspace. It's your headspace to deal with. Like you can't put it outwards onto other people. No one else is gonna solve the problem for you. And I'm sorry, like I don't mean to say that in a harsh way. Like this is some hard love right here, but we have to solve these things for ourselves. We have to find the coping mechanisms, the tools, the whatever we need ourselves. And that's the only way we're gonna get through it. It's important to communicate that to people. If you need space, if you don't feel like you can deal with having really severe mental health things come up and like relationships, social groups, dealing with all of that at the same time, there are ways that you can set boundaries or have those conversations. Partly what I mean when I say mental health should be your number one priority is that in the back of your life, you should always be checking in on mental health. And so, for example, if you're getting into a new relationship and you in your head are like, mental health is my number one priority, then the way you would approach that relationship is you would be thinking, am I at a point right now, mental health wise, where I can actually take on space for a relationship? Is this a partner who is safe? And is there a way that I can start communicating some things around mental health? Little things that come up for me, maybe like what I need. If I'm prioritizing my mental health as the number one thing, am I bringing that mindfully into my relationship? By prioritizing mental health above everything else, you are not going into a relationship masking your mental health and pretending like, oh, maybe this is the year where I'm permanently healed. Like, no. Prioritizing your mental health means I'm going to create some space in this relationship that's going to be able to sustain my mental health if it does get bad. And am I being considerate about how I'm bringing that into the relationship? Am I being considerate around boundaries that I'm setting so that there's a safe space for me, potentially for the other person in the relationship to be aware of the mental health things that I'm experiencing without it creating resentment? Because at the end of the day, like it's really not anyone else's thing to deal with but ourselves. And yes, that is so hard to like, it's scary, right? Because if you don't know how to help yourself, that's really scary. But it can also be a empowering thing in some ways of like, I actually can be the one to do this. And I'm not gonna, like, no one is coming to save me, unfortunately, but I can do this within myself. Also, I think prioritizing mental health as your number one priority means that you are taking care of yourself financially, emotionally, physically, like if you're someone who has this belief of, I really prioritize my mental health over everything, like it is my priority, then you would be exercising well, you would be eating well, you would be learning about emotions and psychology and about mental health and how to help yourself. You would be doing all those things to take care of yourself. So really, this video, like, I'm not saying make mental health your number one priority, as in make it your whole personality, make your whole life revolve around your mental health. No. I mean priority as in this is something you care about. This is something you work towards. This is something you invest in. And this is something that you have a safe relationship with yourself around. You're making it a priority. You show yourself that you care about yourself. You show yourself that you care about your mental well-being. And by putting it as a first priority and doing the things that are going to help your mental health, I do think you're actually going to see every aspect of your life improve. I'm speaking from experience because I, over the past 4 or 5 years, cut out a lot of things that I was codependent on, and it helped my mental health. Recently, I cut down on coffee, and it did help my mental health. So even though I still have episodes come up, I can see how I'm making progress. It's an ongoing journey, but I do think that instead of hiding away from it and pretending that I'm never going to experience these things again, instead it's about prioritizing it in a way where it balances and fits and creates a positive influence on the rest of my life. On the rest, not like timeline the rest of my life, but like the other avenues of my life. So by prioritizing my mental health, I'm also creating better relationships, safer relationship spaces. By prioritizing my mental health, I'm taking better overall care of myself. By prioritizing my mental health, I'm setting boundaries with my career and my work. By prioritizing my mental health, I'm prioritizing my sleep and not staying up laughing at memes until 5 a.m. every night. Not that I do that anymore, but yeah, I really think that mental health should be your number one priority. If you have thoughts, comments that you want to share, please leave them down below. Would love to hear your perspective, your experience. I make videos on this channel about how to become more self-actualized, how to liberate yourself, and in 2025, I'll be making more practical mental health videos as well, because I'm all about, in this era of like tech and AI and all the crazy global politics and stuff, I'm all about taking care of ourselves. Holistic wellness, liberating ourselves so that we can help those around us too. So if any of those things resonate with you, definitely check out more of my channel, subscribe to stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.